Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a fascinating book you sent our way, Masato Oyama's Karate, as practiced in Japan, by Bobby Lowe. Published back in 1964, it's a really detailed look into a specific, pretty powerful style of karate.
Exactly. And your mission, as our engaged learner, is to get a solid understanding of the core ideas and training methods of Masato Oyama's karate
Right.
without feeling like you're totally drowning in information.
Yeah, we want to pull out the most insightful bits.
We're here to extract the most interesting, the most important stuff for you.
So our aim today is to really get under the skin of this book, figure out what made Masutatsu Oyama's karate so, well, unique and influential.
He was a major figure, no doubt.
And this book meticulously describes the training of his Kyokushinkai organization.
Kyokushinkai.
Now, that name, Kyokushinkai, it has some real meaning behind it. The book tells us Kyoku translates roughly to the Far East or Asia. Shin means something like truth from within or maybe reality.
Truth from within. I like that.
And Kai is simply a club or organization. So you could kind of think of it as a club dedicated to finding inner truth through these Far Eastern martial arts practices.
And what's really interesting is why Bobby Lowe wrote this book.
Right.
Right there in the preface, he points out that back in the 60s, there wasn't really a good, accessible book on karate for, the average person.
Yeah, fair point.
He wanted to provide an authoritative guide to the specific training methods Master Oyama had perfected. So it's like we're getting a direct look through Lowe's eyes at how Oyama taught.
And Oyama himself, wow, quite the martial arts background.
Oh, yeah.
It's fascinating that he started with Gichin Funakoshi's Shotokan Karate. That's a huge name, Shotokan.
Very well known, yeah.
And then he went on to master the Goju-ryu method as well.
So multiple styles under his belt.
And it wasn't just studying. He really excelled. Won the All-Japan Championship way back in 1947.
57.
And get this, he was instrumental in introducing karate to the United States in 1952.
That's huge, bringing it to the West.
Absolutely pivotal moment.
Which, naturally brings up the question of where karate itself came from. The book touches on this.
Right, the origins.
It explains that the exact origins are, well, a bit hazy. But there's this popular idea linking it to Chinese Kenpo, supposedly brought to Okinawa by the Buddhist priest Daruma Taishi centuries ago.
Daruma Taishi, okay.
Over time, it developed in Okinawa and then eventually got systematized in Japan by masters like Gichin Funakoshi Oyama's own early teacher.
So it's a real blend, isn't it? Different cultures, influences shaping it.
Definitely.
But it's crucial to understand, and the book really hammers this home, that Masato Oyama's karate is about much more than just, self-defense techniques.
Much more.
It puts a strong emphasis on spiritual enlightenment, mental cultivation, developing human quality.
It's holistic, not just punching and kicking.
Exactly. It's about building character. And this whole philosophy is really captured in the Kyokushinkai Oath.
Ah, yes, the oath.
The book mentions students recite it after every training session. It's got 7 key principles.
Yeah.
Things like dedicating yourself to mutual improvement, staying alert to the teachings, facing challenges with courage, being courteous, humble,
Important qualities.
respecting others, avoiding unnecessary conflict, and striving to be a good citizen. It sets a really high bar.
When you look at that oath, you realize Oyama wasn't just creating fighting moves. He was setting up a whole discipline, almost a way of life.
Yeah, a framework.
That ethical framework, it really underpins the whole approach. So, with that sort of broader understanding, let's dive into the specifics, the characteristics of karate outlined in the book.
Okay, sounds good. So the book starts laying out what karate is.
Yeah.
And the very first point is that it's a healthful means of physical conditioning.
Right off the bat, physical health.
It stresses that when you practice karate, you're engaging your arms, hands, legs, basically every muscle.
It's a full body workout, not just isolated stuff.
So presented right away as complete physical conditioning.
Exactly. And the second point builds on that. It says karate demands deep concentration.
Ah, the mental side.
And it helps develop mental, moral, and spiritual discipline. This ties right back to what we just said about the philosophy.
Mind and spirit alongside the body.
Training the whole person.
And that mental training, naturally, leads to the third benefit mentioned. Karate fosters confidence and poise.
Makes sense. You master something challenging.
Physically, mentally.
It builds self-assurance. Absolutely.
Then the fourth characteristic, probably what most people think of first.
Self-defense.
Yeah. It's a proven, effective method for self-defense without weapons. the practical outcome.
The ability to protect yourself if you have to.
But what's interesting is the fifth point, adaptability.
How so?
The book says karate can be practiced within the individual physical limitations of each person. So it's not like one rigid system for everyone.
That makes it more accessible, tailored.
Which links straight to the sixth point, accessibility in practice.
Right, you don't need a partner or a huge space.
The book even says you can practice effectively in your bedroom or garage.
Lowers the barrier to entry, definitely. Anyone can start.
And for people eager to see results, the seventh characteristic is pretty encouraging.
Let me guess. Relatively quick improvement.
You got it. Significant achievement can be attained relatively quickly. Now, relatively quickly is, well, relative.
Sure. Depends on effort.
But it suggests consistent work pays off noticeably.
So looking at that list, it really is a holistic vision. Physical, mental, spiritual, practical, adaptable, accessible, and you can see progress reasonably fast.
That's a compelling package.
Very. Now, the book transitions into the practicalities, starting with the procedures in the training hall, the dojo.
Right, setting the scene for practice. It describes a few key procedures. First, meditation.
Focusing the mind.
Students sit upright, fists on thighs, eyes closed, preparing mentally.
Establishing that clarity right at the start makes perfect sense.
Then there's the salutation, a 30-degree bow, both fists touching the floor.
A sign of respect. Formal start.
After that, a specific posture for receiving instructions from the teacher shows you're ready to learn.
Attentive, respectful posture.
And finally, the etiquette for bowing when practicing with a partner.
Oh, yeah. How's that described?
A slight forward tip of the body, gaze towards their chest. And here's the interesting part. You should try to visualize their entire anatomy simultaneously.
Whoa. That's intense. Heightened awareness.
Right. Quite a focus exercise. Maybe helps anticipate movements.
It really underscores that deep respect and mindful awareness. It's not just physical motions, it's mindful interaction.
Definitely.
Next up, the book moves into something super important for any physical training. Warm-up exercises.
Absolutely, the warm-ups.
Right.
Or calisthenics, as the book calls them sometimes.
Right.
Emphasizes doing them before and after practice to prep and relax mind and body.
And they stress it's good for everyone, right? Not just karate students.
Exactly. Any age, any gender. It's all about improving blood flow, loosening muscles and joints.
Preventing injuries. Crucial.
Which is vital. So the book details specific exercises and reps. Exercises 1 to 4, twisting, rotating stuff, should be done at least 6 times each.
Okay, what kind of movements are those?
Things like twisting your torso side to side, rotating the whole body in circles, rotating your knees both ways, and doing ankle snaps, shifting weight from balls of feet to heels.
Getting the major joints moving, mobilizing.
Yep. Then exercises 5 through 15, those should be done at least 10 times each.
A bigger set.
Yeah, much more expensive. Bending, twisting the trunk, various leg stretches. Some look really intense, like near splits.
Wow. Flexibility focus, too.
Different kinds of push-ups, even on 5 or just 3 fingers.
Finger push-ups, that's serious conditioning.
Neck exercises for flexibility, sit-ups for the core, exercises for the lower back and core, and even specific stuff for wrists and fingers.
Highlights the importance of even small muscle groups. Very thorough.
It's quite a range. Simple stretches, partner-assisted stretches to increase range of motion, finger strength stuff.
And rope skipping. Can't forget that.
Oh yeah, the book specifically recommends rope skipping for conditioning, coordination, and timing.
All vital skills. So a proper warm-up is clearly non-negotiable before serious training.
Absolutely essential. Prepare the body, focus the mind.
Without a doubt. After warming up, the book dives into the foundational elements, karate stances.
Yes, stances. The book really hits home their critical role. They're the foundation for everything.
Stability, balance, power generation. It all starts there.
Totally. It lists and describes a whole bunch of key stances, some with pretty cool Japanese names.
Let's hear some.
Okay, starts basic. Haisoku dachi, just standing naturally, feet together, relaxed.
It's simple enough.
Then musubi dachi, heels together, toes out about 60 degrees.
Okay.
Haikodachi is like Haisoku, but feet shoulder width apart, toes forward.
Got it. Parallel stance.
Then we get wider bases.
Yeah.
Soto Hachiji dachi and Uchi Hachiji dachi.
Hachiji, meaning figure 8, so toes out or in.
Exactly. So toes outward, wider, stable base. Uchi is toes inward slightly. Fudodachi is described as like Soto Hachiji, but even wider. More stability, more grounded.
Okay. Rooted stance.
Then Kutsu dachi, the forward stance.
Oh.
Super fundamental.
Yeah, see that one a lot.
Front knee bent roughly 90 degrees. Over the ankle, Rear leg straight back, less weight on it. Good for forward power.
Powerful forward movement, strong punches from there.
Yeah.
Kotsudachi, back stance.
Yep. The opposite, basically. Most weight, like 70%, on the bent rear leg. Front leg extended, heel down, toes out slightly. Good for defense, quick movement back.
Defensive posture allows for evasion.
Neko ashi dachi, the cat stance. Sounds agile, right?
Yeah, cat stance. Very light on the front foot.
Exactly. Almost all weight on the bent rear leg. Ball of the front foot just lightly touching, toes extended. Super quick changes in position. Fast front leg kicks.
Very dynamic. Kibidachi, horse stance.
Another classic. Feet much wider than shoulders. Lower your hips like sitting on a horse. Back straight.
Builds leg strength, stable center. Essential for hip rotation in strikes.
Totally. Then Sanchendachi, the fighting stance.
How's that different?
Knees slightly bent, toes turned inward, tense feeling in the legs. Book says it's good for close quarters, offers stability and some groin protection.
Ah, okay. Tense, protected stance.
Suru Ashidochi, the crane stance. All about balance.
Standing on one leg.
Yep. Stand on one leg, bring the other foot up against the inside of the standing knee. Great for equilibrium, often precedes kicks.
Develops that stability.
And finally, Shikodachi. Similar to Kibidachi, horse stance, but even wider, and feet pointed out 60 degrees. Emphasizes hip flexibility, powerful side movements.
Quite a detailed list. Each stance really has a specific purpose.
It really does. Shows the precision involved.
Absolutely. Optimizing body mechanics for different knees, power, balance, movement. Now, following stances, the book includes a diagram. Nerve centers.
Yeah, a detailed illustration showing nerve clusters, pressure points on the body.
Doesn't go into specific techniques there.
Not right then, but its inclusion suggests, an awareness of vulnerable points. Anatomy matters for targeting in self-defense.
Implies that practical understanding of physiology. Okay. Next, we move into what many consider the core, punching and striking techniques.
Yeah, this section shows the sheer versatility of karate offensively. We've got the fundamental forward punches, Chudentsuki, middle punch,
To the body.
and Jodentsuki, high punch to the face.
Standard punches.
Then reverse strikes, like
Gosh.
Urtinuchi, back fist strike, often to the face,
Yes, snapping strike.
and Hiso Horo Uchi, a hooking punch to the side, liver or solar plexus target.
Notice how specific it gets. Target area, part of the hand used. Precision.
Definitely. We also see Kubi Uchi, a roundhouse strike to the back of the neck,
Ouch.
and a whole variety of Empi Uchi, elbow strikes, forward, upward, backward, sideways, downward, covering all angles.
Elbows are powerful in close range.
And it's not just fists and elbows. Details various hand chops, Shudo Uchi,
Knife hand strike.
like Shuto Gonman Uchi, forward chop to the temple, Shudo Sogo Uchi, downward chop to the collarbone.
Effective target.
Force, Shuto Sakuto Uchi, ridge hand to the midsection, Shuto Hiso Uchi, chop to the neck. Plus, palm heel strikes, Shute Uchi powerful, using the base of the palm.
Lots of hand weapons. What about fingers?
Ah, yes. Finger thrusts, Nukite. Examples like Yanhan Nukite, four-finger thrust to the solar plexus,
Ooh, focus.
and Sunbon Nukite, a
Yeah.
three-finger upward thrust, specifically targeting the eyes.
Wow. Very precise. Very vulnerable targets.
Absolutely. The sheer variety and specificity here really emphasize the depth of karate striking.
It's complex. Okay, so after offense, logically we get defensive blocking techniques.
Right, and just as diverse as the strikes. Blocks designed for all sorts of attacks, high and low.
Elemental ones?
Yep, Joden Uke, upward block for high attacks. Chuden Uchi Uke and Chuden Soto Uke, middle blocks, inward and outward. And Gedan Barayuk, downward sweeping block for low attacks.
Covering the main zones?
They're also combined blocks, like doing Gedan Barai and Chuden Uchi Uke at the same time. Defend high and low simultaneously.
Proficient. More specialized blocks.
Sure. Shudo Uke, using the night hand for blocking. Tensho Shudo Gok, an upward hooking block.
Hooking block.
Koken Uke, upward bent wrist block. Uses the wrist strength.
Interesting variation.
And then the book dedicates space to Mawashi Uke, the circular block.
Circular block. Sounds dynamic.
Very. It explains how both hands move together in a coordinated circle to defend against high and low attacks from the same side at the same time.
Whoa. Simultaneous defense.
And then it seamlessly transitions into a forward strike with both hands. Integrates defense and offense beautifully.
That sounds incredibly efficient. Using the momentum. Okay, powerful blocking. After that, the book naturally moves to kicks.
And this is where karate really shows off its full body power, using the legs and hips.
Big power potential there.
Lists a comprehensive array. Starts fundamental. Maraki Cheiji Jerry, forefront kicks, lowered front to the stomach.
Asic front kick.
Hizo Jerry, forward knee kick, stomach or well, testicles.
Ouch.
Direct. And even kingari, a direct ankle kick specifically to the testicles.
Very practical if brutal.
Then side kicks. Yoko kije jeri, snapping side kick, maybe to the face. Yoko kokomi, more powerful side thrusting kick.
Thrust versus snap. Different applications.
Washi jeri, roundhouse kicks, face or body. Kansetsu jeri, a stomping kick aimed at debilitating targets, shin, kneecap, toes.
Joint destruction potential.
Ushiro kokoi, powerful back kick, stomach or testicles again. Kogo togeri, a heel kick to similar spot.
Lots of options. Jumping kicks.
Oh yeah. Adds dynamism and reach. Mashibi geri, forward jump kick. Yoko toberi, side jump kick. And even nidan jeri, or nimai jeri, the advanced forward double jump kick.
Double jump kick. High-level athleticism.
Definitely shows control.
Yeah.
And then there's a really interesting one. Simultaneous side kick, Yoko jeri, with one leg.
Okay.
While delivering a reverse back fist strike, Yuriken uchi, with the opposite hand.
At the same time, that's complex coordination.
Upper and lower body, single fluid action. Showcases that integration.
Truly highlights combining techniques. Okay, after all these physical strikes, the book shifts to something critical. Breathing techniques. Ki.
Yes, and this is fundamental, really distinguishes karate. It emphasizes deep, diaphragmatic, lower abdominal breathing.
Not shallow chest breathing like in many sports.
Exactly.
Oh.
Describes a basic exercise. Inhale deep and slow through the nose, raising bent arms, palms up. Exhale gradually, powerfully through the mouth, lowering arms, back of hands forward.
What's the stated purpose? More than just oxygen.
Way more. It's about refreshing the respiratory system, conserving energy, and crucially, strengthening the lower abs, the power center.
Strengthening the core for power generation.
Which then allows maximum internal power synchronized with a strike, especially with a ki.
And the kaya itself, how's it defined?
As a powerful yell or shout originating deep from the lungs, driven by those lower abdominal muscles. It's not just noise.
A focused release of energy.
Used strategically when striking, kicking, or needing maximum power and intent, the book calls it the essence of karate power.
Essence of power suggests it's more than just sound. Does it mention the effect?
Yeah, touches on the visceral effect. Compares it to a weightlifter's grunt or an animal's roar.
Psychological impact too, maybe. Distraction, fear.
Exactly. Suggests it can distract, instill fear, maybe even help the user tap into reserve strength.
Fascinating. Does it list other breathing exercises?
Yes, beyond the basic one. Deep breathing, focusing on sideways ribcage expansion. Long wave breathing with arm extensions and twists. Short wave breathing with palm pulls and finger thrusts coordinated with sharp exhales. And even light breathing exercises with gentle hand movements, probably for focus and energy flow.
So breath control is clearly multifaceted and foundational here.
Far more than just breathing. It's about harnessing internal energy, focusing intent, synchronizing breath and action.
Makes sense. Following breathing, the book moves to karate coordination exercises, focusing on oitsuki.
Right. The main goal here is to maintain a level head position while practicing movements against an imaginary opponent.
Keep the head steady.
And it says repeat each exercise at least 20 times, really ingraining the movement.
Repetition builds muscle memory. What's the basic sequence?
Starts in Gidan-barai, downward block, step forward, right Shudan-tsuki, middle punch, then left Shudan-tsuki, another right Shudan-tsuki, then pivot on the front foot, ending in another Gidan-barai.
Seems simple, but builds that coordination between upper and lower body, transitions between defense and offense.
Exactly. And then it lists variations using the same footwork but with other techniques.
Like what?
Upward elbow strike, A-jempi. Upward and outward closed blocks, forward front kicks, magyari. Roundhouse kicks, mawashi jeri. Forward elbow strikes from a horse stance, kibidachi. Also reverse strike combos.
So adaptable drills for practicing a wide range while keeping balance in that level head?
It's all about deeply ingraining those fundamentals, the transitions, the balance, building strong muscle memory.
Makes sense. After coordination, we get to the essential, sometimes misunderstood practice of katas, karate forms.
Right, katas. Defined as pattern sequences of defensive and offensive techniques, performed in a specific, predetermined order.
And their main purpose?
To cultivate deep coordination, mind, body, eyes, and master a wide array of hand and leg techniques. Allows practice defending against single or multiple attackers, armed or unarmed, from any direction.
Practicing scenarios through form.
The book notes that while there are loads of katas out there, over 50 in general karate, Kyokushinkai specifically uses a set of 16 fundamental ones.
16 core katas. Do they vary?
Yeah, significantly in length and complexity. Some emphasize dynamic tension, slow execution to build internal strength,
Internal focus.
while others were apparently inspired by animal movements, bears, cats, based on observations by past masters.
That's fascinating. Emulating natural combat principles.
The book assures us, though, that while they might look abstract or dance-like to an outsider,
Yeah, they can look that way.
every single move has a definite practical purpose. In combat, they'd be fast, accurate, effective. It even gives a brief example. Step out into Hachijidachi, do a Gedan Barai, step forward with the Chudansuki, gives a feel for the structured flow.
So, not random moves. Carefully constructed sequences embodying practical application in simulated combat.
Exactly. Next, the book delves into techniques specifically for training together with a partner.
Partner drills. Building on solo practice.
These are designed to improve basic striking and blocking, and also toughen the forearms and wrists through impact.
Conditioning through contact.
Emphasizes repeating each move at least 20 times and always using ki for proper breathing and power.
Ki, even in drills.
Starts with both partners in Sanshin Dashi, the fighting stance,
Yeah.
facing each other, eye contact. Attacker adopts an open block, ready position.
Okay, setting the stage. Examples.
Attacker throws a right punch to the stomach. Defender uses a left outside block, then rolls reverse. Left punch, right outside block.
Basic blocking practice.
Also shows variations using inside blocks against stomach punches and upward blocks against face punches. Structured, repetitive practice for both partners in a controlled way.
Safe environment to hone foundational skills reactively. Develop offense and defense together. Building on these basic drills, we get Ippon Kumite. One blow, prearranged sparring.
Right. Ippon Kumite, described as more advanced, semi-freestyle fighting practice.
Semi-freestyle.
Yeah, for students with a solid foundation. They practice predetermined sequences of defense and counter-offense in pairs. Ki is prearranged. They know what's coming.
So not fully spontaneous, but closer. What's the objective?
To properly execute diverse defenses and effective counterattacks, the book stresses it's essential for bridging the gap between individual techniques and real-world application.
Bridging theory and practice. How does it start?
Both start in Haikadachi, parallel stance, bow respectfully, and mentally visualize the opponent's vulnerable points as targets. Focus and intent again.
Visualizing targets. Intense examples of sequences.
Lots. Various blocks followed by strikes, punches, chops, thrusts. Sequences incorporating kicks, roundhouse, forward, side thrusting as counters after a block.
Blocks and counter strikes.
Some even include grappling elements, grabs, arm locks for control, even throws, often followed by a decisive strike.
Throws, too. Interesting mix. Where are the targets?
Ribs, face, stomach, groin, neck illustrates a wide range of applications. It's clearly a big step towards free sparring, but still controlled.
Exactly. Practice complex combos, timing, distance in a somewhat predictable setting, builds confidence and fluidity. Following prearranged sparring, the book moves to practical stuff, defenses against grabbing attacks.
And this section is specifically highlighted as useful for women, pointing out attackers might underestimate potential counters.
But useful for anyone, right?
Oh yeah, book clarifies that. Valuable for everyone. The core emphasis is using speed and technique, not brute strength. Apply maximum force against the attacker's minimal defense during the grab.
Technique over strength. Makes sense. What kind of grabs?
Stresses practicing against various common grabs: one-hand, two-hand wrist grabs inside-outside, rear two-hand grab, rear lapel grab, two-hand neck choke, pulling lapel grab, even a grab combined with a punch.
Covers common assault scenarios. And the counters.
Diverse and strategic. Turning the body, twisting the arm body to escape, pulling away forcefully, direct forearm strikes, back chops, headbutts.
What? Oof.
Knee kicks to groin stomach, finger thrusts to eye throat, joint locks like wrist or arm locks, shoulder strikes, even throws.
Comprehensive toolkit for close-range defense against holds.
Clearly shows how fundamental karate principles apply in practical self-defense against common holds. Building on unarmed defense, the book progresses to knife and club defense techniques.
Okay, weapon defense. This must come with warnings.
Big time. The book makes it crystal clear this section just gives a general idea of applying karate principles against armed attackers. It strongly, unequivocally advises expert supervision is crucial for developing the necessary timing, coordination, mental fortitude. Emphasizes the risks.
Responsible approach. Necessary warning.
And underscores never giving an armed attacker an even break. Even suggests attacking first preemptively might be necessary for surprise in such dangerous situations.
High stakes. What examples does it give?
Illustrative examples against different attacks. overhead knife, overhead sideways club swings, thrusting knife, backhand slashing knife.
Common weapon attacks. Counters.
Variety of fundamental blocks, strikes, palm strikes, back elbows, kicks. Aimed at disarming or creating an escape opening. Wisely advises using safe substitutes for weapons in practice.
Practice safely. So, valuable intro glimpse, but with huge caveats about needing specialized expert training.
Exactly. Moving to a much more advanced level. Jiu kumite. Free sparring.
Ah, the dynamic stage, freestyle sparring, applying everything learned.
Pretty much. Main objective, find openings, deliver a decisive blow.
But with controls, right?
Yes. Crucial safety guidelines. Strikes are pulled, minimal contact to prevent injury, attacks to vulnerable spots like groin, eyes are strictly prohibited. Ethical considerations remain.
Controlled aggression.
Perfect attacks and defenses under near combat conditions. Also used to determine winners in tournaments. Book gives examples. Forward kicks, roundhouse, side thrusting kicks, jump kicks, lapel grab and punch combos, even headbutts in close.
Closest to real fighting safely. Refined skills against a live, unpredictable opponent. After free sparring, the book tackles the visually spectacular stuff. Temeshiwari.
Breaking. Wood, tile, brick, stone. Bare hands or feet.
The crowd pleaser. But is it core karate?
Book clarifies, not a core art itself, but a demonstration of the power generated through technique, and a reminder of potential damage if karate is misused.
A demonstration and a warning. What's needed to succeed?
Essential elements. Intense concentration of strength at the impact point, raw power, explosive speed, timing, ki, proper breathing, and zen-like mental concentration. No fear, no doubt.
Mind and body totally focused. Breaking techniques mentored.
Forward kick, side chop, knife hand, headbutt, fingertip thrust, side finger strike, fist, reverse side strike, heel of hand, even breaking stone bricks with headbutt and chop.
Wow. Headbutt breaking bricks. Intense. Definitely shows the force potential.
For sure. Then, the book addresses a really challenging scenario. Defenses against multiple attackers.
That's tough. What's the advice?
Acknowledges the difficulty, uniqueness of each situation, but offers an insight. Multiple attackers are often heedless, unscientific, relying on numbers.
Less coordinated, maybe?
That's the implication. Defender's strategy. Keep all attackers in sight, counter the first one decisively.
Take her out quickly.
Then move.
Yeah.
Initial counters must be swift, devastating as a deterrent.
Deter the others. Makes sense. What about two attackers at once?
Use double blocks, then counter the stronger or closer one first. Speed and concentrated strikes are key.
Prioritize the biggest threat. 3 or 4 attackers.
Briefly outlines techniques. Combinations of blocks, targeted kicks, headbutts, double punches. Stresses constantly moving, avoiding being surrounded.
Mobility and awareness are paramount.
Okay. Finally, the book concludes with makiwara training. All right, the makiwara. Described as an essential, traditional training tool. A sturdy striking board, padded with straw or sponge, mounted to have some flex.
The striking post. Purpose.
Serves as an invaluable imaginary opponent for practicing punches, strikes, kicks repetitively.
Benefits.
Develops speed, power, breath synchronization, timing, coordination, and importantly, toughens and conditions the striking surfaces. Arms, fists, feet. Makes them resilient.
Conditioning the weapons. What techniques are used on it?
Basic ready position, forward middle punch, judanzuki, forward chop, shudo uchi, back elbow strike, ushiro empi, forward kick, maijeri. Versatile tool for refining essentials. So to wrap up our deep dive into Masao Oyama's karate via Bobby Lowe's book, wow, we've covered a lot.
We really have.
Origins, Oyama's journey and philosophy, the incredibly diverse and tough training methods, stances, strikes, blocks, kicks, breathing, katas, sparring, breaking.
The strong emphasis on both physical prowess and character development. The Kyokushinkai oath.
Practical self-defense against grabs, armed attackers, multiple opponents, and tools like the makiwara.
And it's just abundantly clear, isn't it? Oyama's approach, as shown in this book, is profoundly about peak physical conditioning and fighting skills, but equally about cultivating character and spirit.
Reflects that oath perfectly.
Absolutely.
You know, considering the incredible meticulous detail in all these methods, it really makes you think about the sheer dedication, the focus, the effort needed to master even one technique.
Years of work.
And how that kind of discipline in one area might just spill over, impact other parts of your life.
Yeah.
What stands out to you as maybe the most surprising or challenging aspect from this deep dive?
For me, I think it's that seamless integration, the intensely physical training side by side with the huge emphasis on mental discipline, ethics, even spiritual growth.
Yeah, it's not just fighting.
It's clear Oyama was offering a holistic discipline, aimed at profound self-improvement on so many levels.
We've really only scratched the surface here, haven't we?
Just scratched it.
The world of martial arts, and Kyokushinkai specifically, it offers such a wealth of knowledge. We definitely encourage you, our listener, to delve deeper into any areas that sparked your interest today.
There's so much more to discover.